I am called Maj Gen Sabiiti Muzeyi, the General Manager at Luwero Industries. I'll just give you a general overview of what is done here, and then we shall go and see for ourselves. The teams are there waiting for you. But just in simple terms, what we are going to do is we shall just give you a general overview, and then I'll ask the PRO to put the clips so they give you a general picture of what happens here. But we have what we call NEC. NEC is National Enterprises. It's enterprises, right?
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Yes.
Corporation. It has many subsidiaries. Now these include Luwero Industries Ltd. It has NEC Agro. These deal with agricultural products. It has NEC Katonga. We also deal with breeding of cows. Very nice breeds. Maybe in the future you should come and we also have a time. Not from here. Then we have Uzima. I'm sure you know this one.
Yes, sir.
And intentionally, I had told these people to give you water. So Uzima is Swahili for health. The other one is NEC Construction Works. They call it NEC Works. This is the one that has been handling other projects that support national projects, the railway, construction projects, etc. But specifically today, we are here at Luwero Industries Ltd headquarters, and it has other subsidiaries, sub-subsidiaries, I don't know, or joint ventures. So here at Luwero, we do defense related projects to do with the aircraft, vehicles, weapons, etc. We also do projects that are in line with our mandate as UPDF. As he said, we are the commercial arm of the Defense Forces, or the Ministry of Defense. And one of our functions is to cooperate with the civilian authority in emergency situations and in cases of natural disasters. So these other projects are in line with support of the civilian authority. So today we shall focus on mostly on these ones. So what we are doing currently is mask production. We are actually producing medical grade masks, and we shall take it to the factory for you to see. We are also doing oxygen stroke nitrogen production. But your interest largely is here. I think you know that oxygen has other industrial applications other than medical. But we produce medical oxygen. So we produce medical oxygen with a purity of 99.9 something %, which is very good oxygen. And you'll see for yourselves there. So medical grade oxygen. We also have laboratories that we shall interest you in, that test the quality of the materials that we use. We produce sanitizers, liquid soap, and others. The purpose why we focused on these was to support the national effort in the fight against COVID-19. And all these ones actually are related. Laboratories are quite general, but they also support these indirectly or directly. The other thing that I would think would be of your interest is waste management. If time allows, we shall give you a ride and you see. So we have handled a number of projects in this regard, including oil and gas. We are also handling actually medical waste and other waste. Recently we opened up the e-waste facility, I think you had in Kampala. So we do waste management. Now, there are other projects that are ongoing here, including carpentry, including fabrication. I'm listing those that are of interest to you. Now, carpentry, fabrication, and we also have a precision workshop. Precision workshop is a workshop that deals with very fine tools that you can apply in any area. So basically, these are things that I think concern you mostly. The other defense-related projects, we shall give you another tour. But for now, this is where we are going to concentrate. One of the functions of UPDF is to cooperate with civilian authority in emergency situations and in cases of natural disasters. Now, when the COVID pandemic became a serious constraint here, the UPDF thought it was important that we participate in bridging the gap that we saw in the lack of sufficient oxygen. So we said, since we have something that we are working on and running, we said we have the best medical oxygen here. We said we should now divert it towards the new effort. And whether we are going to continue beyond COVID. Yesterday I was reading some journal. I think it's an article, it's a paper actually. It was closing the medical oxygen gap in Sub-Saharan Africa. This was written in 2021 January. So I got some very interesting figures that I wanted to share with my sister there. Oxygen is needed for various high mortality conditions. I'm not a medical personnel, but I just picked this one from that report. And they gave some figures here. So I wanted you to know that actually, even without COVID, oxygen is a serious requirement in many other ailments. One of them is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. They abbreviate it as COPD. Now they are saying that the average treatment time for this disease is 7 days. And the total oxygen required in liters is 40,320. Cylinders per patient, 5.9. The other example is pulmonary edema. Treatment period, 5 days. Total oxygen required, 21,600 liters. Cylinders, 3.2. But the cylinders depend on the capacity of the cylinder. Then pneumonia. These diseases are going to stay with us, whether it is now or not. Pneumonia, adult severe. Average treatment time, 2 days. Total oxygen required, medical oxygen, 11,520 liters. Pulmonary hypertension, 2 days, same amount. Pneumonia infant, that is for children, severe, 2 days, total amount 5,760. Asthma, 1 day, and the average oxygen required is 7,200 liters. Then there is the one they call neonatal respiratory syndrome. This is also for the other one, 1 day, and they are estimating 720 liters. In the same report, they indicated that oxygen is critical for treating a number of life-threatening conditions that collectively account for 1.75 million deaths in Sub-Saharan Africa annually. Now that is one side of the demand. Now, I also read, it was a press release from Mulago. I think most of you must have read. They were responding to, I think, an article by the Monitor with clear figures of how much oxygen is supplied through the tubes and the supplementary oxygen they give through cylinders. So the demand for medical oxygen, forget even other applications of oxygen, for medical oxygen is actually still very high, and the supply capacity in Sub-Saharan Africa, forget Uganda alone, is still low. In that same report, if you can access it, they were talking about the oxygen utilization in developed nations vis-a-vis in Sub-Saharan Africa. So you would see that actually other countries had known that it's an important issue, and they had put a serious efforts towards solving it. But still also you can see how this too much demand has exposed people to danger. So I think it will continue to really be relevant, but in any case, with the other interventions, I know that COVID will be brought down and the pressure will reduce, but all these other ailments, I don't think they will go away. So we shall still be able to support that effort. Challenges in production. The cost of cylinders is high, and storage. The cost of production is high because power, even fuel, if you're relying on a generator. The other issue that I think not necessarily related to production is the issue of distribution of these cylinders and management. The logistical aspects of transportation in a time here for filling, then back to where they are needed. So there needs to be some logistical arrangement that helps coordination. Employment of soldiers only, no. Actually, if I tried to scan around here, even from my force, I don't think Okello is a soldier. I don't think Kavuma is a soldier. They are soldiers in a way, but they are not. Joseph, Dr. Engineer Okidi, Dr. Lumu could be a soldier, I don't know. He could be, I'm not very sure. But in simple terms, we don't really employ soldiers only. Here it's an industry, we recruit based on skill and competence. What more can be done to bridge the oxygen gap? For us here, if we want to increase our capacity here, we have to put another plant. So that if we are producing 240, for instance, cylinders per day, can be able to produce 1,000 per day, and maybe increase the power capacity. Reason to start, I think, mainly it was our Air Force effort. But when the pandemic came up, we saw an opportunity to participate in bridging the gap, and we said, let's also push our effort here. Why start waste management facility? I think worldwide, not only in Uganda here, waste is a very serious issue, and waste management is actually even more serious. Why? Because poor waste management pollutes the air, exposes people to several risks. And here we handle a number of waste streams, including medical waste, including oil and gas, including electronic waste of recent, etc. So we thought it was important, one, because we have an obligation to protect our people. So one way of protecting them is protecting them from the hazards of waste. That's why we started. It's also, of course, the secondary effect is that it generates income. Though that one is really secondary, we could have invested in another venture. The primary issue was people's wellness and health. That if not well handled, it can cause more problems. In line with the mandate on functions of the UPDF, we produce products that are of defense nature, but we also produce products that are of normal use. And some of the actual facilities we have, much as they support defense production, they also support the civilian facilities. They are like dual. An example is the laboratory.